All right, so generative AI has completely exploded onto the scene, right? And for schools, wow, it's been this wild mix of chaos and, frankly, amazing opportunity. I mean, all of a sudden, every single student has this incredibly powerful tool right in their pocket. But here's the big question. How do you stop just reacting to this new tech and start building a real strategic plan around it? Well, today we're going to break down how one school district is trying to do exactly that.
And honestly, this is the central question that educators everywhere are grappling with. It's one thing to say, oh yeah, we use AI, but it's a totally different ballgame to build a coherent, system-wide strategy that actually works. So today, we're going to walk through a really interesting blueprint, a strategic framework that one district put together to tackle this exact problem.
Okay, so where do you even begin with something this massive? Well, their answer was simple but super smart. Build a single central hub. We're not talking about a messy folder of links or a bunch of scattered emails. Nope, one dedicated website to house their entire strategy for AI. Think of it like the digital command center for this whole initiative. And its purpose is crystal clear. They call it a repository, basically a library of resources for all the faculty and staff. What this does right away is create a sense of order out of the chaos. If you're a busy teacher, this sends a powerful message. It says, hey, this isn't just another fad or some random idea we're throwing at you. This is a real, supported, and organized part of how we do things here. All right, so with that home base established, the framework builds out its first huge pillar, equipping the educators. And this makes so much sense, right? Before you can even think about rules for students, you have to get the teachers comfortable and confident. The entire strategy really hinges on this foundation of well-trained educators. And what's really crucial here is that they start with the absolute fundamentals. This isn't just some quick, hey, here's a cool new tool, go play with it kind of session. No way. It's a deep dive. They cover what AI actually is, how to talk to it effectively, prompt engineering, and so importantly, what its built-in biases and limitations are. This is all about building real, deep literacy, not just skimming the surface. But understanding the theory is just step one. It's not enough on its own. The very next step has to be about application. The framework immediately pushes teachers to ask that key question. Okay, that's great, but how do I actually use this in my daily work? Because let's be real, theory is nice, but it's the practical, hands-on stuff where the magic really happens. Now, what's so brilliant about this part is how incredibly specific it is. This is not some vague, abstract advice. It's a clear, step-by-step pathway showing teachers how to use AI as their own personal planning assistant. I mean, look at this. It walks them through creating unit plans, designing those catchy lesson hooks, building rubrics, even coming up with assessment questions. It completely demystifies AI and turns it into a practical, everyday, time-saving tool. And that right there is the goal of this entire first track, to get to a place where teachers aren't just vaguely aware of AI, but are actively and thoughtfully using it to make their jobs better. But that's only half the equation, which brings us to the second, equally important pillar of this whole framework. Because while all that teacher training is happening, there's a complete parallel curriculum being rolled out just for the students. It's this really powerful two-track approach. So think about it. While the teachers are learning how to plan with AI, what are the students learning about AI? This is such a key strategic question, because it's not enough for just the teachers to be experts if the students are left guessing. A really successful framework has to bring everyone along. So what does that journey look like for the students? Well, the student curriculum is, wow, it's incredibly comprehensive. It takes them all the way from the absolute basics, like how does this thing even generate an answer, to some really complex critical ideas. And notice this, they're learning about AI bias just like their teachers are. They're being taught point blank to fact check what the AI gives them, to think about academic integrity, and to start preparing for a future where AI is everywhere.
Okay, let's just zoom out for a second and look at the big picture here. When you put these two pieces together, the teacher track and the student track, what you end up with is so much more than just a website with some resources. It's a genuine blueprint for how an entire school community can navigate this completely new era.
This really boils it all down, doesn't it? It's a two-pronged approach. You've got the educator track, which is all about using AI for planning and teaching. And then you have the student track, which is all about critical thinking, using AI ethically, and getting ready for the future. They're two totally different tracks, but they work together perfectly, like two sides of the same coin. And this, right here, is the real heart of it, the big takeaway. The most effective strategies are never just about handing out new software. They're about intentionally building a culture of responsible AI literacy, a shared understanding of how to use this stuff critically and ethically that touches everyone, from the top all the way down to every single student.
Which really just leaves us with one final big question. We've just walked through one district's really thoughtful, structured approach. So, is this the future? Is this two-part framework, educating teachers and students at the same time, in parallel, is that the blueprint that all schools are going to need to really get ready for an AI-driven world?